The views expressed are not necessarily those of KSCJ and Powell Broadcasting Company. This program is not intended to replace the advice of doctors or other clinical providers. Consult with your practitioner to ensure the proper course of action for you.
Welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSCJ. This program is dedicated to your mental health wellness and brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency. Here's your host, Art Silva.
Good morning, and welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well. My name is Art Silva, and welcome to our weekly show where we talk about your mental wellness. Joining me today are my friends from Family Services, Brenda Geisinger and Amy Small. Morning, Amy.
Good morning.
Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning.
We're glad to have you guys here, and thank you for joining us so early. We're going to talk about things that we feel will help with your mental wellness, things that you can do, how you can help yourself. But sometimes the first thing is the realization that maybe you might want to do some help. What do I do? How do I do it? So we hope to get that conversation going this morning. And at this time of year, everybody's making resolutions. And I think sometimes resolutions and routines kind of conflict with each other. You know, I want to do this, but my routine doesn't support this. So let me ask you about routines and how important are routines?
So I think routines are really important, and being consistent with them can really help keep your mind uncluttered, is how I will say that. Routines are smaller parts of a bigger schedule. So maybe something else in your day is going to go differently, but maybe your morning routine is always the same. And it's kind of a way to ground yourself to start the day.
Right now, routines, let's define routines. How do we define them? What are routines?
So routines are a smaller part of your daily schedule. So your schedule is more of a big picture when you look at things. It's either your day, your week, your month, and your routine is how you accomplish small things during that day or the big schedule. So I mentioned morning routine, maybe afternoon lunch or bedtime routine when you're thinking about younger kids or even older kids or even myself, what you do before bed to prepare your body and your mind to get relaxed and ready for bed.
So watching Murder, She Wrote at midnight is not really good, huh?
Everybody has what works best for them. So if that's what works for you, Art, then keep doing that routine.
I'm long asleep by that time, but my wife likes that. She'll watch it, so no. But yeah, sleep is real important. But getting a routine, and routine, is there a habit to a routine? You know, how do we skip our routines? I kind of look at myself and, okay, I should be eating breakfast every day. But sometimes, do you leave enough time in your day to support your routine? Brenda?
I think routines are just kind of like autopilot. You just do. And some routines aren't so good, and some routines are very healthy. And when you're looking at how to improve yourself, what do you want to continue and what are you trying to change? And routines are just, you don't even think, you go. And when you're making resolutions or trying to make a change, you have to make a conscious choice of what you're focusing on and what you want to do. But resolutions can become very overwhelming. Amy and I were talking the other day and we're like, yeah, we don't like resolutions. But what are we going to do differently and what can we focus on? And sometimes it's just picking a word and using that word to help you take a look at yourself. My word for this year is breathe. I tend to get way too focused and way too energized about something, and I don't take a pause to just be and breathe and calm down, and it'll all work out some way. I may not like the outcome, but it's all going to be okay.
Now, how would you judge your progress on that when you take a look at that? I know when people start off in January, I'm going to do. No, I said this before. I don't do resolutions. I do them at Easter because I think Easter, everything is brand new and rises again. Plus, it gives me 3 months to get rid of all the things I said I was going to do, I didn't do. But, you know, when I look at resolutions and the time frame to do it, when I put mine together, it's like two lists. Here's the things that I want to start doing, and the other list are the things I want to stop doing. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about that?
So I think when I'm looking at resolutions, I think it could be any time of the year. And so I know that you're saying Easter time. Brenda kind of brought up the new year. I think it's any time during the year that you just say, I want to do something differently. So I look at them as goals. So your goal to stop something or start something, you set it up similar. It's just the biggest thing is to take action and be consistent on doing it. And when you hit that wall, when you're like, oh, I just want to be done with this, to keep going past that wall. And sometimes it takes some outside help to do that. So,
Brenda, anything you could say on routines with our children in residential treatment?
I think routines are essential. It's predictable. It adds a sense of security and certainty what's going to happen. And when you're outside of the routine, sometimes your body responds with fear or flight. And what am I going to do with this? So if they have a routine and a structure, they can then just function and know what is expected of them and how they're supposed to respond. And when you don't have routines, it's like, well, what's next? And what am I going to do? And there can be the fear or the flight, or there can be apathy. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm just going to withdraw. And so routines provide that structure.
You even notice that we deal with adolescent children and families, but it's even something if you have a pet. A pet is used to a routine. They kind of get that cycle in them where they expect this and I expect that, and that's how their life cycle goes. So I think as adults, boy, it was a routine upset yesterday. Last on Wednesday was a routine upset at the Capitol building. People expect to go to work, get this done, and we can have our differences. But now that routine has been upset, it's how do you get back into a routine? You had a sudden shock, a sudden uprising. They had a certain incident in a unit or in a family that came in that shocked them. It's all part of getting back, let's say, a tragedy like a fire in a home or something like that. You have to get back in that routine, but in order to get there, you have to deal with a lot of other things. Care to talk about that? Share your thoughts? There's fear, there's grief sometimes.
right. So I think when you're talking about getting past different circumstances that are unexpected and have happened, it's really important to keep to your routines, even if you don't want to. Because when life is crazy, that it keeps you, that's your one thing that you can control. And so you can control your routine. You control how, when everything else is going sideways, this keeps me on track and focused. And it is okay to get off your routine. That happens. It's okay to recognize it, understand why that's happening, look at yourself, what feelings, what emotions, grief, loss, what do I have to deal with? Am I overstressed? And then continue on with your life, I guess.
I'm Art Silver, and I'm here with When Things Aren't Going Well. And along with me is Amy Small and Brenda Geisinger from Family Services. And we're talking about resolutions and the importance of routines. We talk with our young ones, and we find that the holiday season, that's a tough time for our young kids. And sometimes routines aren't well established, or they're bad routines. And the kids are on the low end of that. Holiday time, we just got that behind us. What's it like as we get into a new year?
So I think it's important to remember that sometimes there are things that interrupt your routine. And, one thing that we have to teach kids and ourselves is how to manage it when that happens. Routines do a great job in helping reduce anxiety and having this constant, this is what day looks like, but sometimes unexpected things happen. And so I think it's also important to, if you know that a routine is going to be different, give plenty of notice and time to help kind of adjust and help them understand that today is going to be different. It's okay. I might be a little bit more upset or nervous or anxious, but we're going to get through this together. And I think that it's important to also teach that side of it, because otherwise when you're so used to routines and something goes a little bit different, it can also do the opposite of effect of what a routine can do. It can do the same kind of things that Brenda was saying, where it can really cause a lot of stress on people.
Well, we're noticing this in our school, and that lack of routine, it shows up with our students. We're going to take a little break right now. We're going to come back afterwards, and talk more on routines. And please get another cup of coffee, fill up that cereal bowl, or English muffin. We'll talk to you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Let's face it, that happens to all of us. However, the pandemic has compounded all of our lives and activities. Even the simplest tasks seem harder. Hi, I'm Brenda Geisinger, the Chief Operating Officer at the Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Family Services is a United Way partner agency serving children and families of our community, and we're here to help. If you'd like to learn more about Family Services, please contact us via email, website, Facebook, or phone Mary Pickens. At Family Services, we change lives.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well on KSCJ. Here's Art Silva.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well. Show brought to you by Family Services, and we want to talk about mental wellness in our community, what you can do in a self-help program, and just make you aware of some of the issues going on, and that you're not alone. We're here to help, and joining me today, Amy Small and Brenda Geisinger, both licensed therapists from Family Services. And prior to the break, we were talking about resolutions and the importance of putting routines, if you want to put any resolution into place, and how important are routines, daily routines, how important are the routines to adolescents, what kind of example do we set? So with that, we're going to kind of carry it over to looking at routines and what are primary and secondary, because we can get into routines where a lot of things are just fun. So let's break this down a little bit more into primary and secondary routines as we try to establish a daily plan. Amy, you want to take that first?
So primary routine is the things that you have to get done during the day. So your hygiene, eating,
Sleeping.
I know, I seem to leave that one out quite a bit. That's a struggle at my house. So the things that you do need to do, there's no questions. We need to do that to survive. So that's kind of your primary routines. When you look at your secondary routines, it's more of the fun, maybe, aspect of your life. So social things, adventures, different things like that. That's what a secondary is.
Okay. Brenda, what do you see with our kids, primary, secondary? Do you have any problems trying to get more of the secondary things done, or they want to do the fun stuff? Or they're pretty good with their hygiene. I know you do a real good job with them.
I think every kid is different. Some kids struggle with their primaries as well. Getting that routine of sleep or taking a shower, especially when they're in their adolescence. Sometimes children don't understand their body is changing. So really teaching them the importance of hygiene, but also then how do you move that into a secondary routine of how to interact with their peers and not bullying, or how to go to school every day and the importance of that, of getting out of bed, or to talk about why you don't want to go to school, what's going on. There's that whole social aspect, and then also how that prepares you to be an adult. So they go hand in hand, and depending on where kids are struggling is what you may focus on as a family or in therapy.
One thing we've noticed in our opportunity school is how important routine is. The children want to come to school. That socialization, et cetera, that's part of their routine. Now, when you upset that routine or you put it in a different perspective, it's like the squishy balloon. You push it on one side and it reacts on the other. So have you seen any of that?
Absolutely. I think kids gravitate to what they know and want to do and what feels okay or good. And when that's disrupted, they're dysregulated. And so they want to get back to that. And it's all pulling together to make that happen. And I think adults, the elderly, also are struggling with routines right now. What does it mean not to see my family or not participate in the holidays like we used to? And what do you do with that, and how can you bring something normal back to it, whether it's a phone call or reaching out, doing Zoom calls, FaceTime, sending letters. People have forgotten the art of writing a letter. And right now it can really make a difference of connecting and getting back to some sense of a routine.
I think as we look forward in 2021, we were going to talk a little more on routine, but I think we pretty much covered the primary and the basics and what we need to do and the impact on a family and adolescents. What I'd like to do right now is just kind of take a few moments and talk about something that's affecting, I think, all of our mental wellness at this time, and that's what happened last Wednesday in the Capitol building. I think it brought, and this is certainly non-political, I'm just talking about our relationships with each other and how we go forward. And I think that's going to be the real key. Is there a consequence to the action? Do we have faith? Going forward, how do we feel ourselves? How is this going to affect our interaction with our friends, our peers, other people? And I think the best thing is just get an honest feeling from you guys. Amy?
So I think my word for the year is going to be courage. And so when I think about what has happened, I am tired of being scared and fearful about what tomorrow is going to look like and what the next day is going to look like. And so I think when I look at the words that I've chosen, courage, it's courage to speak out even when it's difficult, to listen to those that have differences of opinions of me, because we all want the same goal in the end. We all want to live happy, supportive, successful lives, right? And so no matter where you fall on whatever issues, I think it's important for us to look that we're really all looking to get the same thing in the end.
Brenda, you want to share your thoughts?
I agree with Amy. I think it's a matter of respecting one another, and speaking louder doesn't mean your message is more important. Is finding that common ground and being respectful to one another, listening, but also sharing your opinion. It's okay to disagree. You can agree to disagree, but it doesn't have to resort to violence or being mean or bullying. We teach our kids that. Don't be a bully. Be nice. Be respectful. And that's for the adults as well. We are role modeling, and we need to come together as a whole, as a community. And where do we stand? And to be respectful when stating our opinion.
You know, yesterday my thoughts, on Wednesday, here we are in Washington, D.C., and just across the way is Arlington National Cemetery. And my thoughts went with all the veterans who fought so hard and sacrificed, made the ultimate sacrifice for us to have this right to dissent. And I'm sure this is not what they thought of, what happened. And there's so many people. So with that, I use that as, for me, I'm taking their sacrifice and I'm translating that into peace. Peace this year. That's my word for the year. Peace. We have to get back to each other, not devaluing the other person's opinion, but try to find some common ground where we can improve our society, move forward for the sake of our kids, our families, our whole community. So this is going to be a good year, and I think it's going to be a great year. I think we're going to rebound. I think this has been coming, so hopefully we can put this behind us and move on. And Amy, I share your concern, the fear and the unknown and what's going to happen next. And it's so unpredictable. So, yeah, let's keep our words. Bird, you were courage for the year. Amy, Brenda, Your word you said earlier was?
Breathe.
Breathe. And my word is peace. So those are our 3 words for the year. So we'll move forward in a very positive way. You know, I want to just take a second right now and kind of update everybody on our Family Services project at Indian Hills. We're moving right along. We're doing some final things. We're arriving close to a punch list time, and we hope to reopen sometime in the February. So it'll be definitely in the first quarter. Carpet's all done. We're doing some final things. We'll wait for our occupancy permit, and we'll go from there. But we're very excited about the Family Services operation moving over to Indian Hills, and we'll keep you posted on that. Everything's going well, and we really appreciate that. I want to give a quick plug when I talk about Family Services. As you know, we're a United Way partner agency, and I want to give a quick plug to United Way. They still have extended their campaign into January, so if you have some time in your heart and some space in your wallet, please, United Way could use the help. They do a great job in the community. Okay, we talked about mental health and a sense of humor, how a sense of humor can be great for your mental health. So here's your mental health wellness joke of the day. 2 85-year-old guys are sitting down, and they're talking with each other. And one guy says, you know what I got for Christmas? I got an SUV from my wife. And the other guy says, wow, that's a big gift. He goes, SUV, what model? He goes, oh, no, socks, underwear, and Viagra. So, so listen, go out and have a good laugh. That's your homework for the week. I want you to go and have a good laugh. And I want to say hello and a little shout out to Jan Dewar. Jan, we know you're listening in and glad to have you. And may you have a great mental health day and a great mental health week. And we're glad you're here. So with that, folks, I want to thank Amy and I want to thank Brenda. You guys were great. We're kicking off a brand new year. And we'll be back next week on When Things Aren't Going Well.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails.